Secret Lives of Mormon Wives reality television show has exposed so much about Mormon culture. But what's really starting to come to the surface is just how unattainable the Mormon beauty standards are and how they affect the women who are a part of or once were part of that religion/cult. Because I think we all know what it really is. Today, I want to talk about Jessi Draper, one of the leads of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and how honest and open she is about the operations that she gets done and the work she gets done, and try to decipher whether or not it's healthy for her to do so many operations back to back to back. So, without further ado, join me for this live as we respectfully discuss Mormon beauty culture and Jessi Draper. Sit back, relax, and take a deep breath. It's time to let the fresh air in. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new, everyone. Thank you if you are tuning into today's live. I am so grateful that you're here. I'm really excited to be here with you, and I am very passionate that this is something that really, really needs to be discussed. Now, before I jump in, I want to say that this is a very delicate topic, and I am in no way bullying or trying to criticize Jessi in any way. This is truly coming more from a place of concern. Because I think we all know that the beauty standards that women need to try to live up to on a daily basis is incredibly, incredibly challenging. It sometimes feels almost impossible. And trust me, as a woman in her 30s, I am feeling it too. I did a video a while back about how high the standards that Mormon women in particularly try to reach. These standards are extremely high. Every time I see a reality show that centers around Mormon women, I feel like they always talk about perfection. They want to be a perfect wife. They want to look perfect. They want to be, that perfect image of a Mormon Christian trad wife, essentially. And it becomes more and more unattainable. Now, one of my biggest grievances with people who do a ton of different type of work or get a lot of work done is, oftentimes, it's a very vulnerable thing to do, to be open about the work that you've gotten done, right? But saying it's just your skincare routine instead of having, hundreds upon thousands of dollars to invest in, Botox and filler and all these different treatments every year, it gives a false expectation to other women who might be looking up to this person. Now, I think there does need to be more transparency in the social influencer space regarding a lot of these beauty treatments. I think it's really detrimental to specifically young women, and it kind of instills this fear of aging. And again, I have totally felt that way too at times. But as much as I want people to be transparent about the work that they're getting done, sometimes I almost think like, oh my gosh, do I need to be self-conscious of that too? And we'll get into that a little bit more with Jessi Draper, but you'll see what someone else is really self-conscious about, and you might look in the mirror and see it on your own face and be like, oh, that person thinks that's bad. I'm noticing it on my face, that must mean it's bad. So I want to check in with you guys about the comments real quick before we jump into all the content I'm going to be sharing from Jessi Draper. JB Hello says, "Hi Erin, I love your channel. Thank you so much. Very good insights and opinions. I am a recovering Mormon, a naturally curvy redheaded lady, and honestly never was truly accepted or fit in the LDS culture." Man, I'm really sorry to hear that. That is such a tough situation to be in, because I think redheads and curves are so beautiful, and to be kind of stuck, quote unquote, inside a culture that makes you feel less than every single day. I mean, if we discuss specifically the Mormon wives, we see very often they all have their hair extensions. They all look the same. You can tell they get skin treatments. They discuss their skin treatments. They get their Botox. Like, there is such an emphasis on the physical beauty, and it is so easy to take away from the internal beauty, or focus less on the internal beauty. And I mean, not even just in Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. We see it in The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, where almost all the women have been or are Mormon. And one of the women, Heather, even opened up a med spa because she was like, yeah, all these women want to reach perfection. I'm going to help them get there. And she becomes a successful med spa owner. And it's like, but that's kind of the like opposite direction we want to go into. Now, if you've watched Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, you are probably acutely aware of one of the leads of the show named Jessi Draper. She is very, very open about the work she's done. She's gotten a labiaplasty, she's gotten her breasts done, her nose done. She's gotten a lot of work done over the years, and she's always been very transparent about it on the show and on her social media accounts. But sadly, this past season of Secret Lives, in season 3, she opened up about how she feels ugly. She literally says on the show and expresses how ugly she feels. And it's just this like heartbreaking moment. She has had, I don't even like to call it an affair, because it was like a kiss and some texts, but they really drilled into the fact that it was like a full-blown affair. I think it was more of like an emotional affair where they kissed once or twice, which obviously is still cheating, but the way they made it sound like she had this like months, years long physical affair with somebody, which she didn't. But she said that like she kept texting with this person because he was making her feel good about herself. She was having issues in her marriage. He does not treat her well. I'm trying to, limit certain things I say live on YouTube. And she kept talking about how she was wanting to leave him, but she's actually still with him, and they've moved past the whole affair allegations. But a big reason she said she kept engaging with her, I guess, affair partner or side partner was he was making her feel good about herself. He was making her feel good about herself, and she always has felt ugly. So it's really hard hearing her be that open and vulnerable coming out of that season, and then to see her do what she's doing now. Just to check in with my viewers, Savage Minnow, ooh, you are catching a premiere. You're actually catching a live. We are live right now. I'm trying to, yes, Savage Minnow, it's live. Thank you. I've been trying to think about this video for a long time and be very intentional. I've been working out some of the technical kinks because I want to go live more with you guys. And my wonderful husband, David, who is really good at this sort of thing, sat me down with my live streaming equipment and like kind of gave me a little training session yesterday, which is very cute. So with all of that being said, I think it is time to jump into some of the posts that we've seen from Jessi over the years, and then we'll get into the controversy that's been going on right now specifically and discuss how this Mormon perception of what a woman should look like is potentially negatively affecting her. But one thing I want to make very, very clear. Please do not say rude things in the comments. Please be kind. I am approaching this topic with all of the love and care I can for Jessi. This is not to judge her. I think she is a beautiful woman. I think she has a very kind heart in her core. I think she wants to do what's right for her. I think she really, really does. I just think she's going about it in a way that is actually more hurtful than it is helpful to her right now. So all of that being said, if something's making you feel self-conscious, then it's your body. You by all the means have all the right in the world to make those changes, but just recognize it's really difficult to go back. You might not be able to change. I'm going to give an example, okay? I decided to get lip filler before my wedding, and I really, really, really regretted it. I loved my old smile. Then I got filler a year and a half ago, and it changed my entire smile. I don't like any of my bridal portraits from my wedding day because I'm like, I just don't like that I did that. And it's hard because you do something thinking that it's going to make you feel better about yourself, because I was always self-conscious about having a really thin upper lip. And then you get it done and you're like, I don't like this either. And sometimes you have to recognize you maybe need to go about things a different way. But to be transparent, I have gotten Botox, and I do love Botox. I usually get it 2 to 3 times a year, depending. My metabolism's getting so fast because I've been like lifting weights in the gym for a while, and I feel like it means I need to get a little more Botox more often, but I try to wait for that like 4-month mark, so it's not just like going all the time. But I'm also in my mid-30s, so I feel like it's okay. I'm only saying all of this to give you an example of like, yeah, if you're self-conscious of things, if you do it right, it might help you feel better about yourself and enhance how you feel about yourself. On the other side, you could do something and it could make you feel really, really bad about yourself or worse. And that's, for me, what lip filler did. And I think that what we're seeing with Jessi in particular is she's doing this thing right now. People keep commenting about how terrible she looks. So I'm sure it's only messing with her more. She probably is now wanting to do more to herself to fix her instead of really try to internalize, like, is this just an insecurity that I have and I need to do some extra work to love and appreciate the way I look? Because that's kind of, and I'm not trying to make this video about myself. I'm just trying to be relatable to her and maybe to some of my viewers out there, since most of you are all women or women identifying, that, you know, you can't go back to your smile before. Like, I can't go back to my smile before, and I used to love my smile, you know? So part of me is like, man, I wish I hadn't done that. And then now I'm like, do I need to do it again in a different way? So I'm self-confident. And then I'm like, well, let's work on what's going on in here about how you feel about yourself before we jump to, you know, a needle. Thank you, Savage Minnow. That's so nice. That's so nice to see your compliments. I really appreciate it. So let's jump in. We're going to first start off with some of the things that Jessi has shared over the years, kind of break those down, and then we'll jump into the real controversy at hand about what's going on right now. So without further ado, we are actually going to start. This is a little bit of a preview of what she looks like now and the photo that really sparked some controversy. But first I want to discuss this photo. So I think it was probably about 6 months to a year ago, Jessi posted a video where she looked like she had just gotten she had very raw scarring under her eyes. It was like, it almost looks like she was still bleeding, like she was showing what she got done. And this is, of course, after seeing she got a labiaplasty on the show. So we are aware already that she, you know, does that. So in response to people being like, what did you get done? She posts this photo of herself and says, I've been self-conscious about my under eyes for a while now. I lost weight and I'm getting older, so this just helps get rid of loose, crepey skin. And to be honest, I'm so self-conscious of my under eyes too. I feel like I have extra skin. What we're going to see from Jessi a lot is she uses weight loss as I don't want to say as an excuse, but as a reason for her doing her surgery very, very frequently. So it's like, maybe we need to not be dropping weight. Also, I think it's just painting a very big picture, very clear picture for us that this is a woman who is deeply, deeply insecure and although she's being transparent, might not be the best example for other women to look up to. But I look at this photo and I'm like, I don't even think I would have noticed that if she hadn't blatantly pointed it out. But I'm also in my head, as someone who's working on self-love more, thinking, is this something I should do, And I think that that's kind of like what happens with a lot of these influencers is they're like, yeah, I'm being really, really transparent. I'm just sharing my experience. But what they don't know is they are still influencing other people. Somebody who's never even really worried about their under eyes might see that and be like, oh no, I need to fix that too. How do I do that? Forgetting that also Jessi is a millionaire. She has a lot of access to money. She's also friends with this really allegedly bad doctor, Dr. Ward in Utah, who constantly upsells his patients allegedly to do more surgeries and work done that they might not do, because obviously that means that they would owe him more money. He has a really, really bad reputation, and I'm sure he gives Jessi a discount because she's always plugging his work. She's always going online like, Dr. Ward did this for me, or he suggested this, and I'm going to go do it. And it's like, if you're going to get work done, you really need to go to someone who you can trust to not overfill you, to not give you too much. Like, my injector's fantastic. I tell her I want movement. I want to be subtle. And every single time I've gone in there and I've been like, this is my budget. This is what I'm self-conscious of. Do whatever you can to stay under the budget. And she does it for me. And I think for me, that's the best way to do it, because then you're not getting upsold. And I still want to age gracefully. I don't want to change everything about how I look. And it just breaks my heart that Jessi looks at herself in the mirror and constantly finds these things. It's like, you have those because you've laughed. You have laugh lines because you've laughed before. You have smile lines because you've smiled before. And something that keeps coming up on Reddit in regard to Jessi is she has daughters. What are her children going to think? They're going to maybe grow up thinking that they have to constantly fix themselves, or they might stop being able to recognize their own mother. And I want to make it clear too, Jessi's only 33 years old. She's younger than me. And I think that absolutely, if there's something that you're self-conscious of and you have the means and you're doing it from a healthy place, you have full right to do it, to do something to change it. But I think if we're doing these things really, really young, early 20s, it's just so unnecessary. You're not going to look old until you're getting old, babe. I promise you. I promise. So I would like to share another example with you. Let's see if I pull up the correct one. Nope, I didn't. So let's see. Then, yes, this is great. She then shared a picture about this CO2 laser that she got it. And this is after she started to get a lot more hate on the internet. So obviously we're starting to see she's doing a lot to herself. And the internet started to see, wow, she's doing a lot to herself. And she is really showing the good, the bad, and the ugly. Not that she's ugly, just that the healing process is ugly before it gets, healed. If you even microneedling, you're going to have those tiny needles all over I thought a girl had beautiful freckles when I saw her after her microneedling. And she was like, no, girl, these are a bunch of scars on my face. So hi, a shade to remember. Thank you for being here. So Jessi did decide to start kind of like talking back to her viewers. She says, hey, internet, remember when I got the CO2 laser and it got 30 million views of people thinking it was so sad that I'm going too far when really it just gave me glowier and better skin? Yeah, what I recently did is very similar. So let's not judge before seeing my results, and especially when you don't know what I had done yet. So this is in response to what she most recently got done, and she wasn't sharing what it was. She was just sharing over Christmas that she was like in a hospital bed. So people were obviously wondering what she did. So this was kind of her way of being like, how dare you like talk about me? And it's like, I get that, but you're also sharing it and you've done this before. And if you're having a procedure done like every month to every couple of weeks, people are going to start getting concerned. Now, there are people on Reddit alleging that she has a mental illness. I don't feel comfortable diagnosing anything, but I do feel comfortable saying that this to me is a symptom of deep-seated insecurity. And I would advise even my best friend, if I saw her kind of going down this same path, I would say, let's work on inside here before we just focus on the outside. So that's example number 2. Now I'd like to pull up another photo for you guys. Now, this was another kind of clap back at the internet. And this does show an example of just like really how terrible humans can be on the internet. I don't know what compels people to feel like they are entitled to give their opinion on how other women look or people look or behave or whatever it is. It's very, very, very frustrating that Jessi is receiving hate like this. So this is also after her most recent procedures where people were like, we're all concerned. But then somebody else decides to message her, Jessi, would you ever shave down your forehead? I'm not trying to be a C word and be shady, but I think you would look so good. I mean, you already do, but it would be chef's kiss. Then you never have to get another single thing done. But isn't that always it? Like, isn't it always, I'll do this and then I'll feel good about myself. I'll do this and then I'll feel good about myself. I'll do this and then I'll feel good about myself. I feel the same way with my fitness journey, right? Like I got down to a very, very lean weight this past summer. I then gained weight back. I then went back and forth between like, I like being at this weight. I want to be back at my skinniest. I like being at this weight. I want to be back at my leanest. No, I like this. No, I don't. I'm still trying to figure out how I feel the most confident in my body. I can't imagine having a platform where I'm trying to be open and honest about what I'm doing and I get DMs like this, because DMs are a lot more difficult to ignore than comments. And to be quite fair and transparent, I've said this before, I am very sensitive, so I don't read all of my comments on every video. I wish I had a thicker skin, but it's been so often that I've gotten something really mean or really, really critical or insulting where I don't even want to post the other video after that, and I have to really remember my mission and my purpose with this channel. So I can only imagine, her perspective, thinking she's trying to just be open and transparent, which is feedback so many influencers get, and she's unable to do so because people are saying mean stuff to her on the internet that she sees in her DMs. I mean, it would be absolutely heartbreaking, right? It would be really, really, really difficult. So in that regard, my heart really does go out to her. I really, really wish that people were kinder. But at the same time, I think this is a symptom of her upbringing, of her growing up in the Mormon religion. I mean, in very conservative religious or Christian Mormon corners, part of the reason why they have such long hair is so they can wash their husband's feet. They're constantly being kind of compared to and competing with other women because their husband might want to marry another woman. How would that make you feel? How would it make anybody feel? Oh, why is he attracted to this other woman who isn't me, his wife? Is she prettier than me? Is she younger than me? Is she, funnier than me? Is she smarter than me? So I can only imagine this like competition that is instilled into these women and just always looking at other women as more attractive than you. And if you're already in a marriage that you kind of feel like you're stuck in because of your Mormon culture, you feel like you can't leave, you can't get divorced, but maybe they're saying really mean things to you, you really might be at a loss of what to do. And I think I'm alleging here, I can't remember completely, but she may have mentioned also being in therapy because a lot of people online were like, you just need to go to therapy. You just need to go to therapy. And she's like, I'm in therapy. But I feel like it's almost like an addiction where you really need to not do anything to yourself for a while if you're going to work through your self-love. Because if you're constantly looking in the mirror and seeing things you need to change or quote unquote fix, you're not healing. You just aren't. And it's really, really heartbreaking to me. So now I want to share a video of another content creator who kind of breaks down all of her surgeries. So let me go ahead and find that for you.
From The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives has taken us through every single plastic surgery she's ever gotten, and there's been a lot, so let's break them all down.
Surgery you've got, and I mean pain-wise. Pain-wise? Yeah. Okay, so the labiaplasty.
Jessi got a labiaplasty, which is exactly what it sounds like and what you're probably thinking it is, and she said it was the most painful out of all the surgeries, which I can imagine.
I've gotten my boobs done 3 times, and now I'm getting my cookie redone.
She says she's had her boobs done 3 times, but I only found info on her breast reduction that she got after breastfeeding her kids.
You guys, I'm getting a nose job. Okay, not like a real nose job, but I am getting an alar base reduction.
I also got a type of nose job. It's not a full rhinoplasty, but it basically decreases the size of your nostrils. An under eye skin pinch done where it takes the skin and zips it up so that she doesn't deal with any crepiness or wrinkles. She said that she was insecure about that. Health related one, she had a partial thyroid removal because they found nodules on her thyroid.
All right, open your eyes.
Look in the mirror for the first time. I'm kind of nervous.
And last, I know this might look the scariest, but it's actually my favorite. It's one I might get one day. It's the CO2 fractional laser. One of the most intense forms of treatments that you can do to truly improve your skin. The laser stimulates collagen production and regeneration. You'll see improvement with wrinkles, scarring, elasticity, texture, brightness, tone of your skin, basically everything. Okay, I think I got through everything. Now that is a lot, but here's the thing. All the celebrities that you're watching every day, they're getting the same type of surgeries. They're just not talking about it. So props to Jessi for bringing us along and being so transparent. She's under a lot of scrutiny with her TV show, and I'm never going to judge her. I do hope that she knows that she has a very unique beauty though, and I hope that she's happy and is doing okay.
I mean, I'd rather die hot than live ugly, so if this is going to take 10 years.
So we can see that there's a lot being done there. I want to check in with the comments. The Wow Files says, we as women are socialized to be pretty, and as we age, men are distinguished and women become, quote, old maids. I think this is across the board, unfortunately. And I am inclined to agree with that sentiment. I think it's really, really heartbreaking that there's this idea that like women have an expiration date on their beauty, and there are so many enhancements we can do to keep like, feeling and looking like ourselves. But I also think there is something really beautiful to aging and seeing your life on your face almost. I always joke that one day if I get to be like 85, 90, I'm just going to do whatever I want, eat whatever I want. I'm going to not care. And then part of me is like, Why can't I do that now? Like, I'm 36 years old. Am I going to think I'm old for the next 40, 50 plus years of my life? Am I? I don't want to have that mindset. I don't want to feel that way. And there's just, when you boil it all down, it's like it's a combination of genetics, your lifestyle choices, your upbringing, the examples you saw growing up. And I think within the Mormon culture, there is such an emphasis on your looks, and your looks for specifically the male gaze. They want you to find a husband and start rearing children immediately. But then, heaven forbid, you gain weight, or, your vagina gets bigger because you have a baby. Like, it's such an unfair standard. And I think that the more that we recognize, like, this is an unfair, unrealistic standard, we will start to empower ourselves. And I think we started in the 2000 teens to see that, shift, but we're also kind of rearing back into that like heroin chic type of quote unquote beauty, which is very dangerous in my opinion. But something else about Jessi specifically and the Mormon culture specifically is a big piece of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is they're breaking past the taboo, and they're destroying the patriarchy, and they're empowering women. And I just don't think that this in particular is a great example of that message, if that makes sense. So now I want to share with you guys the photo that kind of blew up the Reddit space. This showed up after she had shared that like on like Christmas Eve or the eve of Christmas Eve, she was in a hospital and her face was like kind of like bandaged up and really puffy. And then people saw this picture and were like, what did she do to her face? What did she do? She doesn't even look like herself anymore. And this is her husband, who on the show, she consistently said that she had been wanting to leave, was going to leave, but I guess maybe they worked it out. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. But season 4 will be coming out soon, so I'm sure we'll all get a better idea of what's going on. I know that with a lot of these, relationships on social media and in reality TV, it is financially a plus if you stay in your relationship and then show some drama online to get people to watch the show that you were just in. So it could be very tactical right now. But this is the picture, and she looks very, very, very different than she looked before. And people started to notice that. And once again, Jessi decided that she was going to speak out. So let's watch this video of Jessi. I believe this is the correct one. Let me just double check. I'm still a little new to this, so I'm trying to still do a good job with this one. All right. Okay, so this is the video where she starts talking about what she got done. And she posted this earlier this month in January 2026. And I'll probably stop and start it just to comment.
Let's get ready and talk about the surgery I just got. I feel like I have to preface every single video I post lately with the fact that I am extremely swollen still. I am 3 weeks post-op from my face surgery, and this is not my final result, and I don't want anyone thinking this is what I want to look like, so just gotta say that. Swelling is completely normal for what I got done, and also I just don't think there's any surgery, especially on your face, that you would look completely done in 3 weeks. Healing is a process, and I'm not gonna lie, the healing process has really messed with me. I knew what to expect, but it's still kind of like an identity crisis when you look in the mirror and you don't look like yourself, but you gotta look worse before you look better. So what I did to my face was I did an upper and lower bleph. It's actually a pretty common procedure that a lot of people get, and people just like don't really talk about it. But basically
And you'll find her saying this a lot. Well, a lot of people get this done. A lot of people get this done. And that's fine that a lot of people get this done. It doesn't necessarily mean that you had to get it done. And I think what she's just trying to do is be like, you guys, this is not that weird. No one else is transparent like I am. And that's true. There are a lot of influencers and celebrities that do get a lot of work done and they just don't talk about it. However, they also have access and can afford the best surgeons. So, not that she can't. I mean, she's a millionaire. She can, but the doctor she is working with has a history of not, doing work well. I'm saying allegedly because I'm, legally. But additionally, he upsells his patients to do stuff they might not necessarily do. So he's feeding into their insecurities. And that's alleged, but he also did admit to it online. He commented and said, well, that's my job. I'm supposed to be upselling. No, it's not. You're supposed to enhance a woman's beauty, not make her feel even worse about herself so you can make more money. And I am very concerned just hearing Jessi thinks she's ugly. She says this. She grew up in a culture that was very, very, very critical of women and made them compete against each other. She's on a TV show and is highly criticized by people on the daily. She's in therapy, working on whatever it is she needs to work on, hopefully self-love. And then she's going to this doctor who is constantly upselling her stuff to do. It just breaks my heart for her. It breaks my heart for her. And her just trying to normalize it doesn't mean it's something that she in particular should be doing, or it's healthy for her, or even necessary for her. She's 33. She's 33 years old.
Just kind of take a little extra skin from the upper and lower lid. And not everyone needs both. I just decided to do both because I had some issues with both. And I was like, if I'm going under, I'm going to do it all. But my top eyelid, I was just having a little bit of creasing. And when I would put my eyeshadow on, it would tug on my eyelids and they would kind of get stuck a little bit. And then you guys know I got a skin pinch in my lower lid a little bit ago. And it was essentially just a little bit more than the skin pinch that I did. I just felt like the skin pinch, I loved it, but it was a little more subtle than I was wanting. And since I had lost weight, I just had so much extra skin under my eyes. So
lost weight once again. I just feel like it's all connected at this point.
Really, that surgery was just kind of to make me look a little more bright and awake, and I have been loving the results so far. You can barely see my scars. I mean, you can kind of see them. They're still healing, but the recovery from that was actually pretty easy. I think the hardest part was you have to wear these goggles for 2 days straight and you can't see anything. Overall, I'm so happy I did that, and again, a lot of people do it. But the reason I am so swollen and the reason I look different is because I also did some fat grafting. So facial fat grafting is basically kind of a better option or replacement for filler. I dissolved all of my facial filler a year and a half ago, and I'm so happy I did because filler migrates and I feel like it actually made me just look heavier and older. But again, I did lose weight. I lost 15 to 20 pounds around that same time, and a lot of that was in my face, and it kind of sunk me in and made me hollow in certain areas. So my doctor recommended the fat grafting just to kind of produce collagen in those areas, help me, fill in a little bit better there. And especially in the under eye area, after doing the lower bleph, they recommend doing fat grafting so you don't look too hollow under there as well. So we did some facial fat grafting. They took it from my outer thighs. They do lipo. It was a really small incision. I do have a lot of bruising, but it's just a tiny incision, and then they inject it into your face. And that can cause a lot.
I just feel like that's got to be so expensive, and I don't know enough to know whether it's better for you than filler, but I remember telling my friend about this who is more educated on stuff like this, and she was like, "What? What did she do?" So I don't really know. Yes, filler does migrate, but you can also dissolve it and kind of redo it, but it all costs money is the thing. It's all expensive.
of swelling and bruising. I have done like a video of my recovery process of like what my face looked like the first few weeks, and it is terrifying. I'm honestly debating posting it because I know I'm going to get a lot of hate, but I also want people to like know what to expect. So let me know if you guys would want to see that video. Also, something I've noticed since doing the bleph is not only does my eyelid makeup go on easier, my lashes look so much longer because my eyelid's more open, and my mascara is so much easier to do as well. Also, I just started using the YSL mascara and it is so good. But yes, the facial fat grafting, it does blow your face up. And I did have a lot of swelling and bruising. It's obviously gone down a lot, but I am still very swollen, especially within my cheek area. And then now it's kind of like migrating down to my jaw and my chin, and it's making me feel like I have a double chin.
Didn't she just say she picked fat grafting over filler because filler migrates, and now she's saying the fat grafting is like, to me that doesn't sound like migration, because filler doesn't migrate for months and months and months. To me that sounds like gravity pulling the fat down. I listened to a podcast with a plastic surgeon who has done a lot of like different procedures with fat, like lipo and whatnot. And something that really struck me, and if you are in this field and you know more than me, I mean, you probably will know more than me, but you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that fat cells, they expand and they shrink. So it doesn't really matter if you like take fat cells out of your body, because you're still going to have fat cells no matter what, and they're going to continue expanding and shrinking depending on your lifestyle. So even if you took like 5 out of 10 of your fat cells out of your body, you still can potentially make all of your other fat cells expand and retract based off of your lifestyle. So I just don't think that this is going to work for her the way she thinks it is. It already sounds like it's not. It sounds like gravity is like pulling the fat down somewhere else, or she's just like insanely inflamed. I got a facial yesterday and I told my esthetician about this, and he was like horrified that this was happening because like these areas are so sensitive. He said that there are women who they've gotten stuff done under their eyes and their swelling was so bad that they lose part of their vision. So just know that there are some insane side effects from procedures like this, and like really try to heal the reason you're self-conscious about something instead of just jumping to doing the procedure, because it could actually be detrimental to you in other areas of your life, like your eyesight.
And that's great. And I look just like 20 pounds heavier right now, but I know it's a part of the process. And things I have been doing to help with the swelling, my doctor put me on a steroid medication. He also gave me a steroid like shot, like where I was swelling more. And that did help a little bit as well. And then he also had me get my blood work tested because I have thyroid issues. If you guys watch season 2, you know, and that can also cause you to swell easier if your thyroid's acting up again. So we got that tested, haven't gotten the results back yet. And then I've also done lymphatic drainage facials, which has helped a lot as well. You know, you can't really speed up the recovery process. You can do things to help, but I'm still extremely swollen. But it is like a 5 to 6 week process until you start to feel like yourself again. But it's like 3 to 6 months before it fully settles in. So that's the scary part. But the cool thing about fat grafting is usually doctors put a little more in than they think you're going to need, because the fat doesn't always like attach and most of it dissolves on its own. And so that's why it kind of takes a long time. But the fat just kind of like melts into your skin and just helps kind of like contour your face. It gives you more glowy skin, and there's just a lot of benefits. And I just think it's so funny.
I don't know if that's true. That sounds really, and I'm not in this field, but I don't think your skin absorbs fat if you take it from one area and put it in there. Now, Sculptra can produce collagen, and it just like keeps making you look better over time, something I definitely want to do. because there are things I'm self-conscious of too. You guys can't see because I have a filter on my camera, but I've got some acne scarring that gives me feelings about myself. But I've heard about it a year ago, and I'm still like, let me weigh out the pros and cons. It's kind of, not to like make light of it, but it's kind of like bangs. Like, you know how they say, if you're going to get bangs, think about it for at least 6 months. And if after 6 months you still want bangs, then you can get bangs. But if you one day you're like, I think I want bangs, do not get bangs.
That people were like freaking out that I did something to my face, because this is essentially the same thing as getting filler. It's actually a better option because it can't migrate, and everyone gets filler. So no, I did not get a facelift. I did not sew any.
You just said it migrated. So which is it? Does it not migrate or did it migrate?
Face onto myself. I literally just did an upper and lower bleph and the fat grafting. I do look scary. I do look different. And I understand people like pointing that out and being concerned. But the thing with plastic surgery is it's everyone's own prerogative. And what I've realized from getting a lot of hate comments from everything from my looks to my relationship to my personality to my friendships is when people comment negative things, it's usually a projection of what they've been through in their life or what they're currently going through. So, you know, I just have to take it with a grain of salt. I know that I have insecurities. I opened up a little bit about it on season 3. It's something I've always struggled with, but especially being on TV, it's heightened. For example, I have to delete comments every single day about my appearance on my posts. The most common ones I get are that I look 58 years old, I look like a man, or that I look like the Megan doll. Yesterday I was on my For You page and I literally came across probably 3 different videos about how I look like a Muppet. I'm really short and stumpy compared to the other girls, how I look ridiculous when I cry because of all my Botox. So I challenge any one of you to go on national television and have your looks ripped apart all the time and not be insecure. And yes, I am in therapy. I've been in therapy for almost a year. I'm doing a lot of personal work, a lot of trauma therapy, couples therapy. And that's like the biggest comment I get that I hate with the surgery stuff.
I'd be really curious to know who her therapist is and how she found them, because as we've seen with a lot of people in Mormon culture, they can be, and she's out of the Mormon church now, but there still seems to be a lot of deconstruction she could do, because a lot of these marriage counselors are suggested to couples by bishops themselves. So there's always this like internalized misogyny. There's this lack of accountability towards the men. There's more of the blame being put on the woman. Like, it's if your therapy is under the veil of some bias, it's not going to help you. And that's a religious bias that certain therapists have. So I would be really, really curious to know, okay, who is the therapist that you are working with? Are they a Mormon therapist? Are they unreligious? Are they specializing in self-love? Are they specializing in deconstruction from culty beliefs? I would really recommend that she see someone who can work with her on deconstruction and self-esteem, because if she's just going to kind of like a random, talk therapist who is more of a spiritual guide than a true, licensed therapist, that could make a difference.
Like, go work on yourself. You have issues. It's like, yeah, I know I have insecurities and I am working on it, but it's also okay to tweak a few things that you don't like about yourself. And if that gives you confidence, why the hell not? Like, honestly, I did my little nose tuck back in March and that changed my whole life. And I fixed it and I've been so much more confident.
I mean, maybe it's because I have regular nostrils, but I just can't even, it makes me wonder, what did someone say to you that made you self-conscious about the size of your nostrils? Like, it's kind of a crazy, kind of random thing, in my opinion, to be suddenly self-conscious of. Like, I've heard of people being self-conscious of oh, my earlobes are too long. And I'm like, I don't think I've ever looked at someone's earlobe and been like, that earlobe is long. I've never looked at someone's nostrils and been like, those nostrils are big. You should do something about that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like nice. I don't know. But also, if you are someone that looks at people with those kinds of judgments, F off. That is so mean. Change your thoughts. I just think that's mean. Anyways.
Sense. So why not do something that helps your daily life and your thoughts about yourself? I am not saying everyone in the world needs surgery. No one needs it. But if you have something you're insecure about and you can fix it and feel beautiful, why not? I know surgery is intense and the most aggressive thing you can do, but it is similar to like getting your hair done, Botox, filler. We all do things to maintenance our looks. And if some people choose to do something that's a little more aggressive, go ahead. One other comment I wanted to address is I've gotten so many comments of people saying, she's just trying to look like Demi now. And my response to that is that people have said we look alike from day one when the show came out. So if I'm changing things, maybe I'm trying to look less like her. And also my fake face looks like her fake face. We both had stuff done. So it's just kind of what it is. Everyone in Utah looks similar. I'm not trying to look like anyone but me, just an enhanced, better version of myself. Moral of the story is, if people want to get work done, don't judge them. If you want to get work done, power to you. If you don't, power to you. It's everyone's personal decision. And I choose to share what I do just in case other people want to do it too and they have questions. When I got my CO2 laser, when I got this surgery done, I was looking things up on TikTok, like recovery and, like what to expect. And I just think it's helpful. So I am an open book. I'm on reality TV. I share my life. It's kind of just like part of what I do. So I do feel like I'm going to continue to do it even though I get hate. But honestly, this is the last surgery I have planned until I need a facelift in my 50s. So probably won't do anything else, but I did want to be honest about what I do get done because you guys have literally no idea how many celebrities and public figures get work done and don't talk about it for this reason. And it's just so funny to me because there are people I know who have gotten work done that everyone's just like, wow, they look so good and they get praised for it. But if they were to show you guys the process and be honest, you guys would rip them apart instead. So I think that people are smart not to share, but again, that's just kind of who.
So I think that's all we really need to see there. Oh my God, speaking of nostrils, I just like, I'm not even going to say it because it's not cute. I have one more video that I would like to share with you guys. Let me see. It's not really letting me pull it up. Need some water real quick, sorry. Oh, I am so sorry. Oh my goodness, y'all. This is going so well. Whew. Alrighty. So she shared in that last video that, pardon me. Ooh, she shared in that last video that this was her last surgery that she was going to do for a while, but then literally like 2 weeks later, she did something else to her breasts, I believe. So that's, I think, what's concerning. And I just saw this comment from Olivia Finley. The dislike of big, wide noses and nostrils is born out of racism. I was thinking that, but I was like, is that I didn't know if it would be accurate to say, but I definitely think that that's something to talk about, especially in Utah, where it is definitely not the most diverse place. I mean, we see in Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, one of the black wives, I believe she's mixed, goes to her first black hairstylist after going to this woman, Jessi, for so long. Because obviously Jessi was never trained to work on a black woman's hair. And this girl, Layla's hair was getting like just fried and destroyed. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. And like she finally went to a black stylist for the first time in like 24, 25 years. So it could be some type of like internalized racism on Jessi's part. Which I did a video recently on how racist the Mormon religion has been. So that is also something to consider. Hi, Fancy Pants 9. Thank you for being here. Man, I'm like so embarrassed that my mouth just got so dry. But let's watch this last final video and then I'm going to go chug water.
Okay, so today I am going to the doctor and we're going to do some steroid shots because I am holding on to swelling a lot, obviously.
So this is about a week after the video we just watched, I believe. We can see she's still swollen. I think she's like, it has to be 4 weeks post-op, I think. But I think this is when people have been like, this is really sad. Like, who is this doctor? What did he do to her? Why did she let him convince her she needed this done? Like, it's heartbreaking.
And believe it or not, this is actually not how I want to look. A lot of people in the comments are like, she ruined her face. She looks so scary. I'm still healing. I'm swollen, but I just want to make it clear, like, I did not want to look like this. This is not the result I'm going for. It's just part of the healing process. But I am going to have him look at me. We might do some steroid injections to help with the swelling. Things I have been doing to try to help are icing every day, lymphatic facials, which has been great. And I'm also doing keto and an anti-inflammatory diet. But yeah, people have just been really mean online, and
I just don't think those things are going to help at this point. I think her doctor's making her a guinea pig. I think he's practicing stuff on her that he shouldn't be doing to anybody. And I keep seeing, it is on Reddit, so they're not trusted sources, but I do keep seeing on Reddit, like, this Dr. Ward guy, he needs to get his license revoked. He should not be practicing. He's a corrupt doctor. That's all alleged. Just repeating what I've heard online, not saying it's definitive.
I understand that I'm choosing to share this, and so like it's gonna come with criticism and backlash, especially while I'm healing. But the truth is I couldn't not share it because I live my life online. It's my job to post, and I couldn't just disappear for 2 months. So I kind of had no choice, and it just really sucks that I'm getting a lot of harassment and bullying just for like something I chose to do for myself. Didn't hurt anyone, doesn't affect anyone, and I'm having to delete comments.
So there's an argument I'm seeing online a lot too where she says, I'm not hurting anyone. The thing is, yes, on one hand, you're being very transparent about what you've done. On the second hand, people might try something that you're promoting that is untested. It's not a good idea, and they might go do it. Or there's also this DIY aesthetics thing going on right now because these treatments are really expensive. So heaven forbid someone tries to do stuff like this on their own, on themselves. Also, like I said before, you may be pointing out things that you're self-conscious about that now people or a young woman is like, oh, I have that. I guess that's not good. I should be self-conscious of it too. Like, I have a friend, sometimes she'll say something she's self-conscious about, and then I'll look in the mirror and say, oh my God, I have that too. Oh my God, should I be self-conscious about that too? Whereas before I didn't even notice. Like, I didn't notice on her, I didn't notice on me. And then when she points it out, it's like all I can notice. So like, I just think it's like, yes, on one hand, be transparent, but I think with transparency comes assessing risk and sharing why you made the decision that you made. I think if it's just, well, I wanted to make myself look better, I wanted to fix this, I think when we're using terminology like that, it can be dangerous because then it's going to subconsciously make people think, oh, if she has that and I have that and it's not perfect, then I need to fix it too. I need to fix it too. And that's just, it's not healthy or helpful for anybody. It's really, really, really sad. It's like, yes, I'm all for transparency, but also make sure that you're not just sharing something that you're getting for a discount by a doctor to come basically make you a guinea pig for some procedure. Make sure it's not something that you were upsold. I feel like when we talk about transparency, it needs to be like, oh my gosh, what's your skincare routine? Your face is glowing. And they're like, well, actually, I get Botox and filler facials every month, and I get a Sculptra treatment every 3 months. I feel like that's more transparency. And then especially coupled with, but you know, this is something I decided to do after considering it for a long time. I did not just wake up one day and decide to do it. Your results might not be like mine. That's why I really feel for Jessi, because this video in particular just broke my heart, because she obviously is unhappy. She obviously doesn't think she looks good. She's not confident. She's getting a lot of hate online. And I feel like she just keeps trying to like convince herself that it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And it just makes my heart break for her, because it's like she does not need to do all of this. She doesn't. And she owns a salon. Like, if she wants to take some time and be private and heal away from like the haters, she is well within her rights to do that. She does not have to post this to make money. She owns a salon. She's a millionaire in her own right. And I don't think any amount of like lymphatic drainage or anti-inflammatory diet's going to help her at this point. I think that the thing that would help her the most is not listening to this doctor and really working on why she sees herself the way she sees herself.
Constantly, because people are really, really mean. There is also a lot of amazing comments and love and positivity. So if that was you, thank you.
So for the rest of the video, she basically just kind of like shares her kind of rest of her day, like an ASMR video. But my heart breaks for her. I think the combination of growing up in a patriarchal, very critical Mormon culture where you're, you know, taught about purity and perfection from a very young age, combined with being an influencer for years, combined with getting on a hit TV show, combined with being in the middle of a infidelity scandal, I think it's all like compounding, and she's just trying to feel good about herself by any means necessary. And I think I am alleging that she's making decisions from that place and letting a kind of shady doctor guide her, instead of like really working on herself and maybe taking a break from being in the spotlight and trying to understand if like maybe it's her childhood that an upbringing and growing up in a cult that really, really affected her negatively. So if you are out there and you have considered doing something to make yourself feel better, I want to stress, absolutely, you are well within your rights to do it. I think that everyone deserves to feel great about themselves. But I think if someone else is telling you to do it or encouraging you to do it, or you think it's going to magically make you feel better about yourself, I can tell you that it won't. And it's really, really, really easy to keep chasing perfection, keep chasing perfection, keep chasing perfection. But at some point, you just have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, like, I am beautiful the way I am. I really am. And do whatever you can to remember that, whether it's leaving a bad relationship, leaving a bad church, cult, religion, leaving a television show, taking a step away from the internet, getting some really good counseling and therapy. I wouldn't go under the knife immediately. And the thing is, there's no such thing as perfection. If you're going to be chasing that and just want to keep looking better, keep looking better, keep looking better, I encourage you to ask yourself, when will you just feel happy and confident and beautiful in your own skin? And if you can't answer that, or if your answer is, well, after I get this done, after I lose the weight, after I find a partner, after I get X, Y, and Z, after I change this about myself, that's never going to be the right answer, because your mind is already stuck in that loop of self-criticism, finding things wrong with you. Something that I've been doing lately over the last several months has been, when I feel a negative thought about myself, I try to instantly find something positive. Like I'm looking in, like I have my computer here in front of me and I can see what you guys see, right? And of course, there are things I'm looking at that I'm like, oh, that would be nice if that changed or if that wasn't there. But when I have that thought, I'm like, okay, what about me do I really like in this picture right now? And it can be something physical, but I think it's even more powerful to make it something internal. Like, well, I'm really kind to people, or at least I try to be, or I'm really funny, or I'm really smart, or I love the way my brain works, or like I'm getting stronger at the gym and I'm starting to see my shoulders grow. Like whatever it is, instead of nitpicking every piece of you, force your brain to have a new thought. Every time you have a negative thought about yourself, think to yourself, okay, well, what do I really love right now? What is something I really love right now? And over time, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. But I really, really think that over time, it could really change the way you see yourself or think about yourself. And I really, really hope that Jessi finds that. I really do, because this is heartbreaking. Well, you guys, I want to say thank you so much for joining me today. Let me know if you enjoyed this live or if you caught the replay. Let me know in the comments below. I'm really excited speaking of reality shows, I'm excited to share with you my deep dive on Mary Cosby's cult from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City this weekend. So stay tuned for that and subscribe if you aren't already. So with all of that being said, stay safe out there. Always ask questions and always stay skeptical. I'll see you in my next video soon. Bye.